The legislature has outlined its concerns with the governor's newest budget proposal. Two major sticking points for both sides are the amount of money being borrowed and the lockbox provision. The governor wants to borrow $343 million in the bond market. His most recent bill breaks this down into two separate bonds, one to be issued immediately and the other in February. Lawmakers are still a bit wary about borrowing this much money. Then there's the lockbox provision. It's a provision that automatically takes a percentage of GRTs and locks it away in an account to be used solely for tax refunds. This was an idea that Democrats passed in their version of the budget that was vetoed by the governor. It's a provision the governor will not agree to.
Oh, that lockbox is a deal breaker. And I don't know how they can even put that legislation and that amendment in. If it were a perfect world where we were not in a deficit and that revenues were tracking online, then we could even have that discussion. But we shouldn't even have that discussion because we are now in a major deficit.
And the deal breaker for Budget Chairman Senator Ben Pangilinan is raising the debt ceiling.
Well, I'm not supporting increasing the debt ceiling for sure. I just don't think that's wise and prudent. The debt ceiling was put in there to keep us from burdening future generations with excessive borrowing, and that's exactly what the governor is proposing with 343.
But there is a possibility that these two major sticking points and the other issues of contention will be worked to a compromise, as Republicans have actually joined the Democrats in formally voicing these concerns to the governor in the letter they sent him yesterday. In fact, Minority Leader Frank Blas Jr. says the purpose of the letter was to help reach a compromise.
In this deliberative body, there's going to be a need for, in some cases, a compromise. Where are those areas that we can compromise or that we can talk in as far as a compromise to be able to fashion a bill that will be palatable not only to this body, but also to the governor?
At noon, Senator Blas called for a recess in order to allow both Democrats and Republicans to craft amendments to the governor's bill in hopes of creating a version of the bill that will pass muster with both the legislature and the governor. However, when session resumed late this afternoon, Democrat Senator Roy Respicio made a motion, much to the surprise and disappointment of Republicans, to substitute the governor's bill with Bill 304. That motion passed.
This bill has everything with the budget for the upcoming fiscal year. Everything is intact. It takes out the lockbox, which the governor has found something that he cannot deal with at this time. And so this bill has everything except the bond borrowing chapter.
Respicio said his intention was to take out the bond borrowing provision so that lawmakers could pass a budget bill that both the governor and the legislature could agree on in order to avoid a government shutdown come October 1st. Republican Senator Chris Duenas was upset because this was not the compromise he and other Republicans were seeking with the Democrat majority.
Madam Speaker, compromise that leaves people behind is not compromise. It's a cop-out. It's a cop-out. When a person digs their heels in, says, I'm not moving, go ahead, put up or shut up. Whether we're irritated, whether we don't like it, whether we don't care for the governor asking us what to do or compelling us, whether we like that or not, we gutted his legislation. We didn't even debate it.